Hello, Taurus rising, and welcome to your September astrology and tarot horoscope. If you're new here, I am glad you're here. My name is Lisa Merrifield, and I'm with Trails Edge Astrology. On this channel, my goal is to give grounded, practical astrological advice so that you can make the best decisions for you. If you haven't listened to my September overview, you might hop back and do that. I will link it here. Um, the September overview, it just gives you the 6 transits that I think are going to be most significant this month, and how they might show up for you. And I also did a journal page with the date and the transit and some place for you to write how that might show up. And I also encourage you to reflect on how it did show up. Astrology is a really cyclical kind of language, and so it's interesting to make note of how something showed up, and then or how you responded to some energy, and then as it comes around again, you can kind of like see what the story is, what your soul's evolution is pointing you towards. So if you want that, it's linked in that September video, and I'll put a link in the description down below so that you can get it if you would like it. All right, so today we're going to talk about the 2 transits that I think have the longest term impact from this, from the September astrology, and how they will hit you specifically as a Taurus rising. So, of course, if I say anything that resonates, if you're willing to give me a like, a subscribe, a comment, a share, any of those things, I would greatly appreciate it. It lets me know you're out there and that you like the content, and it helps the algorithm know that this is interesting and useful, and so other people can find me. Alrighty, so let's talk about what is happening in September of note. So the first transit I want to talk about is Pluto going back into Capricorn for the last time for like 200 years. So Pluto will be in Capricorn from September 1st through November 19th. Um, Pluto was in Capricorn. Pluto entered Capricorn for the first time in 2008, and it was solidly in Capricorn between 2009 and 2023. And during that time, there was probably some transformation for you around your abstract thoughts or your higher mind. Could have shown up as like learning, like education or travel or adventure. Could also have been about spirituality, or some kind of bigger karmic vision. Um, the ninth house, where Capricorn is for you at the moment, is also the house of astrology. So maybe that's when you came to astrology. So so solidly between 2009 and 2023, there was some work you were doing on finding your authentic voice in that ninth house kind of space, that abstract thought. And how do you get that abstract thought? You get that abstract thought through higher education, or through travel, or through encountering people who aren't like you, or through deep dives into philosophy or spirituality or those kinds of things. um, so in 2023, um, Pluto first started put a toe into Aquarius, and it's been going back and forth in 2023 and 2024. So September 1st to November 19th is the last time that Pluto will be in Capricorn, again, for like 250 years. So we will not see it here again. So there is an invitation in this little chunk of time to finish up whatever ninth house work you are doing. So if there is some piece, an educational component you need to finish, or there is a trip that's really been calling you, or there's a philosophy you really want to study, or any of those kinds of things. Ninth house can also be sports and athletics. So maybe there's some call to do some competitive kind of thing. Now's the time to finish whatever that journey is. Finish up any last ends, tie up all the loose ends. Um, it, when Pluto leaves a sign or leaves a space, it can also give you what I call a test, which is to bring up a scenario that prior to all this work, prior to 2008, you might have handled one way. It will bring up something to invite you to do it differently, to be more authentic, to be more in your own power, to yeah, to just show yourself how far you've come. So I invite you just work with that energy. See what comes up, work with it, see how it transforms. And so Pluto and Capricorn showed up for you um, in various ways, and it really depends on what planets you have in those cardinal signs. So I'm sorry, Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, or Libra. If you have planets in those placements, you probably felt this more strongly. If you don't have planets in those placements, maybe this was just, you just saw the drumbeat in the world of what Pluto and Capricorn has brought up for us. But work with it, lean into it. Wherever Pluto is, we're really invited to transform. We're invited to step into our authentic power. Interestingly, when Pluto goes into Aquarius for good on November 20th, or for good, for the next 20 years, it's going to be in your house of career. So I would expect there is going to be some transformation in your career or your public life. If you don't have a traditional career, that there's the part of your public persona is up for review, and really looking at what that looks like to be authentically, you know, in your public life, to really be the authentic version of yourself. So that's what's coming, and we've seen some glimpses of it. But yeah, so this Pluto and Capricorn time, lean in, finish up what you need to finish up, and then we'll move on. All right, the next transit I want to mention is the eclipse coming on September 17th. And this eclipse is in Virgo and Pisces. So the eclipses have been in Aries and Libra, which is where the nodes are. So this is an out of sign eclipse. And it is, kind of like showing us what the Pluto in or the goodness, I'm stuck on Pluto, eclipses in Virgo and Pisces look like. And so this is going to show up in your 5th and 11th house. Eclipses are harbingers of change. They are karmic course corrections. They are often surprising. Anne Ortley describes it as a strobe light. You're going along, the lights go off, everybody keeps going, but when the lights come on, everything has shifted. So it's that idea that they just we turn on a dime. Oh, we were doing this, now we're doing that. So things get illuminated during eclipses. And for you as a Taurus rising, there is something about your creativity that's being illuminated for you, something about how you are creative both individually and how you're creative in the collective, how you are creative in groups and in communities. Yeah, and any of those kinds of what do you contribute? How are you as an individual, and what are you contributing to the group, and what is being illuminated in that area? So this is a full moon eclipse or a lunar eclipse, which means that it is likely to be something that lands in your body. There's some, suddenly you feel called to do something. Your heart's desire is pulling you in a direction, or your gut or your stomach, whichever part of your body tunes in, is calling you to maybe join a cause, maybe a humanitarian or a civic effort. Maybe there's some calling to do that kind of work. But eclipses can be really intense because things have the potential to change. If you have placements around the final degrees, the 20th through 27th or so degrees of Virgo or Pisces, this is going to hit you more strongly. It'll have more impact. If you don't, you may just feel the pressure and kind of the intensity in the collective and those ripples. So those are the two transits I think are most impactful, have the most long-term impact, and so I wanted to make sure you knew where those landed in your chart. All right, let's pull some cards, and we are going to pull from the Guardian of the Night Tarot, and I'm going to pull an oracle card from the You Are Awesome deck. All right, I'm going to pause, shuffle, and I'll be right back with those cards. All right, Taurus rising. We have cards pulled. Actually, one more minute. Now I'm really back. I forgot to draw the oracle card. All right, so for your opportunity this month, Taurus rising, you got the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles is about creating boundaries. Sometimes it can be a little stingy. Sometimes it can be like, I'm holding on to all of my stuff and I'm not going to share it with anybody. But I think in this case, I think as an opportunity card, there's something about just, protecting your own, gathering your stuff, keeping it close to you. Um, yeah, just, seeing maybe easing into what's comfortable and maybe in that Plutonian ninth house exploration, you've just gone really, really far and you've done, a whole lot of education or a whole lot of travel or a whole lot of daydreaming about those things. And there's just something about sitting back and resting. So this is a card of rest. Um, but also make sure that you're not being um, overly miserly, that you are giving when you need to give, um, but not when you don't need to. The boundaries are important, and finding that balance, I think, is the real um, opportunity this month. All right. Your challenge is the Ten of Wands, and the Ten of Wands is overwork, overdoing. It's the end of the journey, the end of a passion journey. Wands are very much related to that ninth house energy, and also that 11th and fifth house energy, that creative passion. Um, but your challenge this month is not to do too much, is to find that nice balance, that space where you're not holding on too tight, but you are, putting up your boundaries and making sure that you are living authentically in your space. But something about not trying to do too much, and really, keeping a check on what makes sense and what doesn't, and if it feels like you are doing too much, to really step back and reevaluate. All right, your to-do list. What are you supposed to do with this? You got the Two of Swords, which is so interesting. Aries just got the Two of Swords. Um, the Two of Swords is about not being able to see, or it's about being some kind of confusion. Um, I think in this case, or I wonder in this case, if it's not just leaning into your intuition, or if this isn't about leaning into your intuition, um, and maybe taking steps forward, taking the next step that feels right. So rather than having to have something all planned out before you do anything, or rather than, just spending all of your time in this Four of Pentacles and, not sharing any of your gifts with anybody, there's something about taking the next right step, moving into the next place that you need to go, but really grounding it in your heart and in your body, and what really makes the most sense. What do you really want to do? And then do that. And know that you might not be able to see the end, that you're just taking the next right step, and that's okay. That whatever is going to unfold will unfold, and wherever that step that you're taking um, is, you might not, it might work out, it might not. You need to try. Um, there's the overwork energy, and what I'm feeling like is that if you try and do everything, if you try and be everything for everyone, you're going to feel overwhelmed. So take the next right step, even if you can't see where that's going, even if it's taking you off what you thought your path was. Take the next right step, and kind of surrender to those, surrender to your heart's desires. All right, and from your oracle cards, you got this. It's the bear and the cow, the moose. Cow, I guess. And it says, inform the negative committee that, excuse me, let me try that again. I informed the negative committee that meets in my head to sit down and shut up, because I am awesome. So that part of you, the self-doubt, the I can't do this, like send it away. Tell it to sit down and shut up. All right, Taurus rising, I hope this was helpful. If it was, would you give me a like, subscribe, comment, share, anything to let me know you are out there and like what I'm sharing? And yeah, I'll talk to you next time.